So after having my second baby, I think I'm a little bit more experienced in terms of confinement compared to when I first had Damon. But I don't think there's a best way. It's whatever suits you, but I truly believe that staying put and enjoying your confinement after giving birth to your baby, at least for the first month, is very, very, very beneficial. There's a lot I could share about confinement, but I'm gonna split it up into 3 main sections so it's easier for you guys to understand. First, I'm gonna talk about my confinement menu and what I eat. Second, I'm gonna talk about breastfeeding, which is also a really big part. And lastly, I'm gonna talk about personal hygiene because there's so much taboo about washing your hair and doing this and that. Because I'm a C-section mom, there are certain foods I had to stay away from because I had to give my wound enough time to heal, and certain foods that encourage blood circulation we're not meant to eat. If I go down and analyze every single different type of food with everyone, I think it would just be really long and boring. So basically, just generally, I don't eat any beef or lamb, and I stuck to foods such as steamed chicken, steamed pork, steamed fish, and choy sum. It's simple like that. So if you're overseas and you're not sure and you have no one there to ask what you should and shouldn't eat, and you're a C-section mom, then basically what I said above. You might find it really boring. Why am I always eating the same type of meats? But honestly, there are a lot of variations you can come up with for dishes just using simple ingredients like that. And I practically ate only those ingredients for the first month. Oh, there's Damon. I was very lucky because I had confinement nannies for both my kids. They were able to come up with different dishes for me and cook the dishes for me. For those of you who don't have access to that, or you can't have your confinement meals ordered or delivered, especially those from abroad, I suggest you just stick to really simple foods and eat a lot of rice and drink plenty and plenty of soup and fluids. So here are some photos of what I ate during confinement. I tried to take as many photos as I could, but sometimes it was just too difficult and I was just too tired, but I hope these photos can inspire you as well. Soups I would recommend would be 2 that I've shown on my YouTube vlogs before. One is making that pork essence, and the other one would be chicken essence. These 2 soups, both my confinement nannies made for me every day. It was either pork essence or chicken essence or some type of fish soup. So if you're not sure, just go with these 2 soups and I think you can't go wrong. For those of you who might be really, really busy and won't have time to cook so many different dishes, I can suggest drip essence of chicken. This is super handy because this is technically chicken essence, but you don't have to boil it yourself. All you do is heat it in a packet, in a cup or a pot, make sure it's hot, and then drink it like that, straight. I found it super convenient, especially on days when I was really tired or when my confinement nanny had a day off. Like, I would just go to this. This is like my go-to drink. Another great suggestion, another thing that I took every day was this liquid calcium and folic acid supplement. Basically, it's super convenient as well. I think this applies a lot to those of you who are living abroad because you might not have access to a confinement nanny, your mothers might not be there to help you cook or help you look after the kids, especially during this year, during the pandemic. I've had a lot of friends message me and say that, you know, they won't be able to get help. What should you do? What should you eat? I think go for something that's basic and simple. I think fresh ingredients is really important. This is liquid calcium and folic acid. So 1 tube, just like that, tear it open and drink it up. This is enough calcium intake and folic acid for you whilst you're breastfeeding or whilst you're in confinement. Okay, the next topic I'm going to talk about is this big topic, breastfeeding. Now, breastfeeding is no easy feat and it's not an easy journey for any mums. I found breastfeeding very stressful, especially the first time with Damon. Second time around, I was a little bit more relaxed. However, still quite a tough journey because there was Damon and I still had to try and breastfeed Jamie as much as I could. But I knew just how to relax a little bit more. So when I was at the hospital with Jamie, I was really good. Every time the doctor came to visit me, he's saying like, wow, Are you nursing again? Every time Jamie was hungry, I nursed him as much as I could. I'm not here to share with you my expertise on how to breastfeed because this isn't the purpose of my vlog. I'm just sharing with you how breastfeeding and confinement go hand in hand. It is very hard to juggle because one side you're telling yourself, oh, I'm in my confinement, I should relax, I should rest more, I shouldn't stress. On the other hand, your new full-time job, which you're picking up again, is just starting and it is really full on and you're tired and you want time to relax for my wound to heal. So yeah, for me, it was really hard to juggle. But nevertheless, I'm still breastfeeding and I'm surviving. I think the best way to do it is to not stress and just go with the flow. Don't pressure yourself. If you're not producing enough milk, don't stress yourself out because the more you stress, the less milk you'll produce, and stress does affect it. So for some moms, they just nurse, but for me, I pump and nurse. So some meals I will nurse and some of Jamie's meals I will pump, and then I will let my confinement nanny feed him if possible, or sometimes Papa to feed him. So then I can have a little bit of downtime. So I do a bit of both. I feel like pumping works well for me because I can measure the amount that Jamie is drinking. Sometimes nursing, I find that he falls asleep while nursing and then I have to wake him up. Sometimes he gets too tired, so I can't really quantitate how much he is taking in, which is a worry for me. And then like an hour or an hour and a half later, he wants to feed again and I'm not sure whether I fed him enough. I know that there are a lot of committed moms out there who nurse 100%, and you have my total respect because I find it super difficult and I don't know how I could possibly do it. So when you're breastfeeding during your confinement, make sure that you are still eating a very, very healthy diet, as I mentioned before. It's not just for the recovery of your body, but it also helps you boost your supply as well. So my confinement nanny will tell me to eat a lot of carbs, drink a lot of fluid, drink a lot of tea. So I was very good. I did all that. I had like 6 meals a day and I drank like up to 2-3 liters of water a day. On my naughty days when I don't drink enough fluid, you can really tell because your milk supply for the next 2 days will drop. And once you start drinking water, drinking fluid again, you can slowly increase your supply again. Also, resting enough is very important and not to stress so much. These are all factors that will affect your milk supply. Next thing is power pumping. What I do sometimes is I'd nurse Jamie and then after nursing him, I'd stay up and I will pump for an extra half an hour to 40 minutes. It is super tiring for the first month, but once you get into the momentum and get your supply going, it's fine. So my best achievement is producing just enough milk for Jamie for 1 day. Supply has always been a problem for me. No matter how hard I tried or how hard I pumped, I could never store extra milk. I don't know why, but just having enough made me happy already. So if I didn't pump that day, or if I didn't get up to pump or get up to nurse Jamie, then I would have to supplement. Pumping, I've been using the Yuha, the one pump, ever since Damon. That's been a really reliable pump for me. I have 2 of those at home. I'd keep one as a spare in case if one breaks down, then I would have a backup. But then luckily my first one never broke down, so I'm still using that one. So after confinement, sometimes when I need to go vlog or when I'm doing shoots and stuff, a lot of the times I have to pump in my car because when you're on the go, you can't really find a room for you to sit and pump. I guess for those of you who work in an office, it's easier so you can take your pump to work. But for me, taking a pump and having the tubes in the pump was kind of inconvenient. So I discovered this other pump which was really handy and I really liked it, and I really want to show you guys. This is the Yuha Ins. Basically, it's a cord-free mobile pump, and all you do is slot this into your pumping bra, and it's got a few massage modes and it pumps quite well as well. So what I did was to double pump. I bought 2, 1 for each side. I found this super handy and it's also very discreet, so you wouldn't have tubes coming out of your shawl or your jacket or your coat. I really like the clever design because after you pump, there's a little nozzle here where you can pour the milk out. So it's easy to handle, so you don't actually touch the milk and the milk isn't exposed, so you can ensure that it's hygiene. And then you pour the milk into this storage bag, which comes with a little funnel, so you don't touch the milk at all. You unscrew the funnel and you seal it with a lid like this, and then you put it in your cooler bag. So that's what I did when I was pumping on the go. Obviously, pumping when working and pumping on the go calls for a lot of time management because you have to kind of time yourself well and make sure you pump regularly. Otherwise, it affects your supply as well. But obviously, when you remind yourself all the benefits of breastfeeding, then you can soldier on. So far, I'm still breastfeeding and I'm proud of myself. It's been 4 months now. Hopefully this time I can stretch it for a little bit longer, because with Damon, I breastfed for around 4-ish months. This time I hope I can really do it for 6 months. And then I think Jamie would be starting on solids soon. So yeah. I had to stop filming halfway through because it was starting to get busy outside and I needed to help out. Jamie woke up and had to feed him and bath him, and then it was Damon's turn to have dinner. So we ate dinner together and then bathed Damon, tucked Damon in, yada yada yada, and now I'm back. So on the last topic is personal hygiene. I always get asked whether it is true that during confinement it's better off not to wash your hair or have a bath. Well, honestly, I can't stand not washing my hair for a month, but I know people that could actually go through a month without washing their hair. I'm not judging, I'm just saying, because I had the baby in the middle of summer, I was postpartum sweating a lot. So hence, I washed my hair as soon as I got home from the hospital. And I also bathed as soon as I got home from the hospital. So what happened whilst I was in hospital for 5 days? Well, I used dry shampoo and I had my hair tied up in the bun so it wasn't in my face, and I wore a massive headband so all my hair was neatly tucked away, and then every night I'd use some dry shampoo on my scalp, so that helped. And also I would wipe my body down every night with hot water. As soon as I was on my way home, I told my confinement nanny to please get my bath water ready, and I washed myself from head to toe, and it was so fantastic. It felt so friggin' good. My advice is, and this is the advice from my confinement nannies, if you wash yourself or bath yourself, do not use tap water. So they had ginger water ready for me with a bit of herbs. I don't know what's in it. Just imagine it was like a massive tea bag and they'll boil it to make a big pot of tea, and I'd use that tea, bath water, to clean myself. I'd wash my body every second day and I'd wash my hair once a week. So during my confinement, I wash my hair 4 times only. And as soon as I finish washing my hair, I'll dry it very thoroughly straight away. Shampoo wise, I was using this ginger shampoo that I bought online. It looked really good, but I didn't really like it because it left my hair feeling really rough and dry. So after using it for the 2nd or 3rd time, I kind of just switched back to my normal shampoo because it was just too dry. So I wouldn't recommend it to you guys. I guess if you don't have access to a good ginger shampoo, you can just use your regular shampoo. Just make sure the water that you're cleaning yourself with has enough ginger, because apparently ginger takes away the coldness from your body, which is very good for mummies who are in confinement. Also, another thing that I did during confinement was wear long sleeve and full length lounge pants as pajamas, because it's very important not to expose like parts of your shoulder or your neck or your tummy or your leg.
No flesh.
No flesh, because apparently during your first month, if you expose too much skin, or if you were
It's all wonky, what the hell's going on here?
or if there was like a breeze blowing directly on your shoulders, it's not really good for your body because your body gets cold. So I had to wear that for a whole month, even when I was like postpartum sweating like a pig. It wasn't very pleasant, but I still did it just because I'm a good girl. I had to wear socks and slippers because apparently I can't walk around the floor barefoot. It's not good for my feet and it doesn't warm your body. Just little things like that. My confinement nanny would tell me every single day, like put on some socks or like put on your slippers. It's slightly annoying, but you know, it's for the best. Another thing that I didn't do during confinement was wash my hands with just cold tap water. So that herbal bag that I was telling you about used to make that herbal bath, I'd make an extra pail of water and I'd use that pail of water to wash my hands every time I needed to. I think if you don't have access to those herbs, you can at least boil some ginger water. If not, maybe use warm water from the tap. So anything cold is not recommended. So how do you store the water you use to wash your hands next to your sink? So both my confinement nannies actually recommended something like this. It's like a massive thermos with a little faucet. Basically what they use in a cafeteria to serve coffee and tea, a massive thermos with a little faucet. So I'd put that next to my sink in the bathroom, and every time I needed to wash my hands, I'd kind of like turn it on and wash my hands there instead of the tap. Note, on the days that I didn't bath, I wiped my body down with the herbal water. So personal hygiene is always the most important. So just some afterthoughts on my 2 confinement experiences. With Damon, I was stressed about a lot of things because everything was new to me, raging hormones, changes to my body, breastfeeding, looking after a newborn. It was just too much to take in at one time. So for the first 3 weeks, it was really overwhelming. I felt myself really stressed and I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I wasn't like super duper emotional, but sometimes I think, oh my God, I can't imagine my life like this every single day. Honestly, it's not gonna be like that every single day. And after the first month, when your hormones kind of settle down a bit and you're picking up on things, it will get better, and it does get better. And when you see that little cute face, it just brings a massive smile on your face. Obviously, my husband was a lot of help as well, and I think I'm really grateful for that because he's a super hands-on daddy. So that's what happened with Damon. Okay, with Jamie, I felt like I was more confident and more stress-free about all the technical stuff, like how my wound would heal, how I can breastfeed, how to bath my baby, how to tuck him in, whether I'm going to set a routine for him, whether I'm going to feed him this amount of milk. You know, all the technical stuff, I felt like, it's pretty sure what I was doing. But the other thing I was trying to juggle was, now that I have 2 babies in the house, I just felt really torn on how I can better manage my time to spend more time with Damon, as well as being able to look after Jamie as much as I could, like when I was looking after Damon. That is something that I had to adjust a bit, so Jason ended up looking after Damon a bit more. Other things that stressed me out was pretty much COVID. The whole pregnancy was slightly stressful because you didn't know what you had to deal with in terms of like COVID arrangements in the hospital and stuff like that. All in all, I felt like both times my body recovered quite well. I do feel like the second time round it's taking me more time to get back in shape, but that's not something I'm too rushed about. But it is true, it's harder to get back in shape after each time you have a kid. I hope that my confinement sharing is useful for all of you. I think it's really hard to answer all questions and analyze every aspect or all the different frequently asked questions out there. So what I'm thinking is you guys can leave your questions here in the comment box and I'll try to go through all of them, and maybe one night on a Facebook Live I can go through those questions and give you the answers that you might want to know. But just bear in mind, all my answers are from my personal experience. There is really no right or wrong. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helps all the mummies out there, and happy confinement.